mindset to millions. And boy, we're going to have some fun tonight. I hope you are ready to tune in to have a great time. I have the one and only, our fearless leader, Coach Richard Adams. He's on with us on tonight, and I'm elated with joy. I'm super excited. He is the owner of Mega Source Entertainment, and man, I've been blessed to be invited to this platform, and he's going to actually interview me tonight. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. But as he's coming on, I want to share a little bit about who he is, and I know he'll go more in detail in sharing that. But you know, this man of God is someone who's been in the business world for many, many years. He's experienced. He has so many insights. He's a coach. He's a business coach as well. He's the CEO and online radio of this online radio station. So many things sets him apart in what he does. He preaches, but he practices what he preach. What I've been able to see with him is what I love about myself. I see the manifestation of what he preaches. You know, sometimes you hear people saying a whole lot of things, but you don't see the real world experience. And Coach Rich has that, and so many other wonderful things about him. You know, I can go on and on and on. I'm going to give him a chance to talk about his exceptional coaching program, the radio station, what he's doing. We have new personalities coming on. He's going to talk a little bit about that as well. He sought out for many stages, many opportunities to coach. He has entrepreneur achievements that actually have stood the test of time. So I want to introduce to some and present to others the one and only Coach Rich is in the house.
Hey, thank you for having me, Dr. Tammie.
Yes. So good to have you. And why do I have Coach Rich here tonight? You know, what's so awesome about him, he coaches me, and he says to me, Tammie, do the people know who you are? Every week you're bringing on these wonderful guests and you're pouring out who they are. But have you told people who you are? Do they even know what mindset to millions mean? Do they know about your work in South Africa? And I started thinking, Coach Rich, I don't think so, because I never say anything in particular about myself on the platform, because I'm just so excited to bring a wealth of people in with knowledge and information. And so my coach said to me, girl, you doing the dang thing. You know what? You get the opportunity to be interviewed on tonight. So I'm going to throw the ball on over to Coach Rich and let him do his thing.
So, exactly. Thanks for having me on your platform. You're doing a marvelous job. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm the behind the scene guy for the network. And what we are a digital platform online, kind of similar to Sirius XM radio, but you can see us, right? We're tangible and you can communicate with us live, right? So we're not doing recordings, we're interacting with you live. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I want to reverse engineer this conversation and make it about Dr. Tammie and what she's done here at the network. And you've been a plethora of information. She's very dynamic, very, very well-spoken. I've seen you on stages. I've seen your work. It's one of the reasons why I brought her to the platform. When she came up with the title of the show, Mindset to Millions, I thought it was a phenomenal topic. And, everyone that's on this platform, you're not going to be here if you're not actually walking the walk. And Dr. Tammie really exemplifies walking the walk. So we're on some next level stuff, and I really wanted to kind of let you guys know of what we are about here in this organization, but not only that, the work that's being done behind the scenes. You heard her. She's very humble. I call her like the Wonder Woman, meaning like Wonder Girl behind the scenes, and she's always pushing others to the front. So I wanted to take this opportunity to push her out in the front so you'll know exactly what she does here at the network and what she's doing in the community, not just the community, but the entire world, including especially Johannesburg, Africa. She's doing some magnificent stuff. And I thought it was important that you guys know what's happening, but not just that. that you can take something away from this conversation, because Dr. Tammie wasn't always this girl boss. She wasn't always this mindset to million coach. She come from somewhere, just like myself, right? I'm a product of public housing projects, right? And she has her background, and everybody here on this network has a place that they come from. The goal is to help inspire others to walk their walk and not give up, and to continue to be encouraged. And Dr. Tammie really, really exemplifies that. So tonight I'm reverse engineering and I'm digging into her so we can get to know more about her and how we can become millionaires, or how we can become bosses. I call people CEOs. You know why? Because if you are the chief executive of your life, you're in charge of every single decision that you make. So hopefully by the end of this conversation, uh, myself and Dr. Tammie will drop some gems that you can take with you and be dynamic in your life moving forward. And with that being said, I want to start having a conversation. I really want to dive into you, Dr. Tammie, and learn more about you. I know who you are. That's the reason why you're here. The only people that are here are people that are dynamic people, influencers that will make a difference in others' lives. And that's what you exemplify. But a lot of things you haven't said about yourself that I want to say. Dr. Tammie is pretty much a mogul. She self-actualized her own life, took her pain, turned it into purpose. Um, I always say that, without a story, there's really no glory. It's not about the finish line, the journey. And that's where she is. She's in the middle of her journey, and I'm so proud of her. But not only that, she's been able to uplift so many people and just allow us to shine. And I'm just pushing her forward to go ahead and, babe, it's okay, Queen, to turn up your light. It's okay to shine, and tonight is about you. So I want to start off by giving you an opportunity to tell the folks that don't know a little bit about your story. Um, let's start off with, what's your why?
Mm. That's great. That's great. Well, first and foremost, Coach Rich, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be part of this platform. And one of the things about me is I really love God's people. It's like one of my superpowers. And so even that ties into my why. My why is bigger than me. It's not about another house, another car, or trip. But it's about giving back, creating generational legacy, heritage, and opportunities. I think about my granddaughter. I have a almost 4-year-old granddaughter, have another grandchild on the way. I've stopped thinking about my kids because they're good, they're doing great. But I think about, those that are coming way after us. That's part of my why. But it also ties in with building generational wealth, building generational legacy. I have decided that I want my great, great, great grandchildren to remember my name. So if that's my why, I got to be doing something. Like I can't be sitting on my hands hoping that there's going to be some sort of book of remembrance of me, but I want them to see subdivisions that their Gigi built, whether in South Africa, whether in North Carolina, whether in Switzerland. So my why is about building generational legacy, heritage, and wealth.
Wow. Okay. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. I hope you guys are getting this. We what we're gonna do is I want to dissect mindset to millions, and also Dr. Tammie and her journey, and help us understand. Um, the word mindset to millions is such a big topic, right? It's heavy, it's huge. And what I want you to do is speak to those folks that hear the word mindset to millions that may be so far away from having millions or thousands. For those people that may have bank accounts that are in the red, or just waiting on payday. And here we are talking about, let's take our mindset, let's go mindset to millions. What do you say to these people that feel like they may be so far away to the millionaire mindset?
Mm, great questions. Great questions. I want people to understand this. I think about where I started from. I'm the daughter of sharecroppers from Eastern North Carolina. Just like you, Coach Rich, I've lived in the projects. I've also lived in the trailer parks, and I moved a lot of times in my life. Not because I was in a military family, but it was because we were so poor. By the time we was at the point of getting padlocked, we had to move again because they couldn't come up with the back rent that was due. So mindset to millions is not something that instantly happened overnight for me. I understood and I knew that I did not want to continue to live this kind of life. It wasn't because my parents were slackers. It wasn't because they was lazy, but they were sharecroppers. If you don't know anything about sharecroppers, it's a little bit above slavery. So they worked in the field all year long. And then at the end, when the harvest season came, they got the money that they got. They had to pay out everybody they needed to pay out, and they had what was left. Well, after a while, that just wasn't cutting it anymore. So my family moved to an urban area, which is Rocky Mount from Stokes, North Carolina. It's all Eastern North Carolina, but it was a little bit more urban. So how does this tie in with Mindset to Millions? My parents wasn't wealthy, but I had a mother that would tell me, girl, you're going to be something great one day. I had a grandmother that told me when I was about 8 years old, you're going to do something really huge one day. And I'm thinking, is this lady crazy or what? We're poor. We don't have a lot. And she's telling me I'm going to do something really great. But I kept having people to tell me that I was going to do something great, that I was going to be great. And so my mind started shifting. Even though we lived in the trailer park, even though we lived in the projects, my mother had the cleanest house in the projects. When you will walk in her door, you're thinking you're in another community because I don't know if people remember, but home interior, home design, she had all this stuff in her house. Every nick and cranny was crammed up with this stuff, but it was clean, it was organized. So even though we were poor, my mind was shifting. My mother said, you're going to go to college, you're going to be smart. She gave me books to read. She didn't have all that at her expense, but she made sure that I had it. So my mind started to change. It started to change. And by the time I went to college, then I'm meeting new people. You know, I could go on and on, but who you connect with is important. Who you are around is very key because even though I was this poor little girl who grew up in Eastern North Carolina, when I began to expand through books, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Ready.
That shifted how I saw money. You know, money could attract itself to me after reading that book. When I had the chance, Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking, when I realized that the glass was half full versus half empty, that shifted my mindset. And I can go on and on and on, but it came over time. To those people who say, well, you know, I just want $100,000 a year. You're talking about earning $100,000 a month. I want to tell you, one time I had a negative $5.75 in my account as a single divorced mother with a 5-year-old in hand. So I haven't always had the opportunity to be in the places that I am now. And even now with the real estate industry and things shifting and changes, I still have ebbs and flows just like everybody else, but my mind has changed. And that's where the value is.
Wow, phenomenal. So there you have it, folks. What we're doing is we're dissecting mindset to millions, and we're going from the grassroots of it, because I know when we hear the word millions, it can be intimidating. But a lot of times the millionaire is the mindset. It's how we perceive things. And as she said, you know, she lived in public housing. She come from the projects, and her house appeared to be, you know, one of the most beautiful houses on the block. I can concur. My mom, who, hey, how you doing, mom, who's listening as well? I come from the projects, and our house, inside of our house, it was like paradise. I had no idea how poor we were because everything was astonishing. Everything was beautiful, and we were always clean. So my mindset was developed in that same place. Just like you, we have very similar stories. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners have similar stories as well. So the gap may not be as big as you think it is to get to your status quo or whatever you desire for your life. But I think it all starts with Dr. Tammie says, with your mindset, with your mind shifting to think prospectively different. And with that, I want to kind of move a little bit into at what point it was for you that you realized that you could be the person, because I know that you said that they were telling you you were going to do something and that you were going to be something. At what point did that switch come on for you? And where were you when that happened, if you remember?
I do remember. I do remember. I had the opportunity to go to college, and I, worked as a clinical social worker, a program manager, a director of a social services career plus in Wilson County, and I was doing all these social services, social work, family preservation therapist, all of that work because I love people, and I had brokenness in my family, in my life. So, most people want to help other people. And so that's what I started doing. I noticed though, Coach Rich, every single position that I got in, I will always end up excelling, always end up going to the top, whether it was a program manager or social worker three or a director. And it's like, the little girl from Eastern North Carolina, man, God is good. I always attributed it to God being good. And then one day the Holy Spirit, and I can say that God spoke to me and said, listen, faith without works is dead. I know I'm doing this for you, but if you didn't do your part, this couldn't happen. Because see, where I'm from, you don't toot your own horn. You don't brag about what you're doing and who you are and all that good stuff. But God, I felt like God was saying to me, lady, I'm giving you the strength. I'm giving you the wisdom. I'm giving you the knowledge, but you're doing your part too. So then I start allowing people to speak to me in a way to say, Tammie, do you not realize you are the only person of color? When I was at UNC School of Social Work and School of Epidemiology and all this, and you're the only person of color and you have this high ranking position. Do you not know it's a big deal? See, I wasn't even thinking it was a big deal because where I'm from, I worked in cucumbers. I used to pick cucumbers to buy my school clothes. My family, my cousins, all of them worked in tobacco. So I'm just like glad to be at the table. But then I began to look and say, oh, wow, something is happening here. And Coach Rich, I started remembering my grandmother's voice and saying, oh my God, you're going to do something great in life one day. And then to fast forward, I was on a flight from Vegas. I had went to Las Vegas because I was with a big brand before I started the Tammie Harris real estate firm. I was with a big brand named Remax. And as I was with this big brand, I earned all these awards, millionaire status for revenues and all this good stuff. I walked the red carpet. I was on my way back. I still didn't quite really realize what I had accomplished. And I'll never forget, her name is Marty. She was my real estate coach and she owned a firm. And she said to me, she said, do you understand what you're doing? Do you understand that you are breaking glass ceilings? Do you not understand? Because it was like 105 agents in the organization, probably four of color. And I was one of the team leaders. And it dawned on me, oh, dang. Come on now, Tammie girl, you are doing it. You have been called for greatness. There is an anointing on your life. And so it took me time, but that flight, that 5-hour flight from Las Vegas back to Raleigh, Durham, this woman said to me, you are to let your light shine. You are to stop shrinking back and not being willing to state who you are and whose you are. I mean, that's when I realized that was 10 years ago. I don't know. That was a while back. But that's when I finally realized, okay, I am destined for greatness in the earth through finances to empower my family and us and others.
Wow. Wow. And that brings me to the next thing, a dynamic answer. I hope you guys are getting this. These are great nuggets. Just to reset the room, mindset to millions. The question is, okay, what is mindset to millions? And I think the word million intimidate those people that may have lower amounts in their bank account. To me, millions is not necessarily monetary. It's the way that you think. It's the mindset that you have. It's hard to reach. It's hard to reach millionaire status or thousandaire status if you have a very poor mindset. So everything starts with your mindset. So I applaud you on coming up with the name Mindset to Millions, but I don't want folks to get lost in between feeling like it is so far away from them. This is a real life person that have walked the walk. There's nothing extraordinary about her but her mindset. All right. So we all get the same 24 hours a day. We get the same amount of minutes, right? 52 weeks, right? We get the same thing she got. It's her perspective and her mindset that allowed her to soar and achieve these things and make it to the red carpets and all of those things. So, congratulations to you. The word that comes to me is humility and the way that you put others out front, that you're not always hopping in front of the camera. You're not always saying, look at me, look at me. You know why? Because you're grassroots. And that's what I love about you. You're out there doing the work. I've seen the photographs. I've traveled to many countries and throughout the United States. One of the places I haven't been that I would love to go is Johannesburg. And not only did you go, you went and you build homes for people that was less fortunate, in need of a place to just the bare minimum, shelter, food, things of that nature. How did that come about? And how did you end up going to Africa to not only do what you do here in the United States, but to take the gifts and all the things that you have with you over there to help build homes for other families? Let's talk to that. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh my goodness. Coach Rich, having the opportunity to do that is still mind-boggling right now today. I've been twice now. And I was going through and still is going through massive transition in my own life. And I thought, what could I do in this season to be a blessing, to give back to others? I love the fact that you asked me, what was my why? See, your why shifts, your why changes. My why was initially this 5-year-old when I was initially divorced and we were moving to a new city. My why was to move in a good neighborhood to put him in a good school. That dude is about 23, has his own LLC, bought his home at 19 years old, doing massive things, right? So my why began to shift, right? I'm getting to the Johannesburg. Then my why was my mother. My mother, I'm her only birth child. I have some, step siblings, but I'm her only birth child. So my mom and my dad was my why. I want to build a house for my mom. I want her to have a Cadillac. I want her to live good. She worked hard. She worked her finger to the bone to send me to school and all this good stuff. That was my why, right? It kept changing. Then Johannesburg, how did that come? I needed a new why. I had a car, I had a house, I had a couple of companies, we have about 20 plus real estate agents. We have a couple of offices. We're doing things in the community locally, Rise to Hunger, Backpack Buddy. We're doing all this stuff in the community. But what if I get a why that would impact a country that could really be appreciative in a way that would shift the trajectory of even how I think? That's how Johannesburg came along. Dr. Patricia Bailey Ministries. I met her under the covering of Dr. Bill Winston's ministry through a good friend of mine's, attorney Joyce Simmons, made the introduction, said, hey, we're going to South Africa. We're going to open technology centers. We're building tiny homes. Would you like to go? Duh. Count me in. I was the first woman to graduate from Pew Builders General Contractors Academy, but I didn't really didn't do anything with it. I graduated and was super excited. But I thought if I could go to Johannesburg and build some tiny homes for some families that are homeless, for some families that are less fortunate, then all those places that I moved all those years, all the time, getting padlocked out as a kid growing up, living in the projects, living in the trailer park. Oh my God, can you imagine the gratitude, the thanksgiving, the legacy building that I would be able to leave in the earth? Even after I'm gone? That's how Johannesburg came.
very humbling, man. And kudos to you for the work that you're doing. Hopefully, this conversation is inspiring somebody. This is a little girl from the projects, right? And just through the ranks of life, just elevating herself, getting the education, but beyond the education, she became a realtor. She learned about finances. She did so many different things. She started her own organizations, became a minister, and then on top of that, um, not just selling real estate wasn't enough. The girl boss got her own agency, right? She's not just a realtor; she has a firm. And then she employ people. She create opportunities for so many people, and you're making a difference in the people's lives. Now, this is from zero. She didn't have much. I didn't have much. Everybody on this whole platform come from someplace, and that's part of the requirements to be a part of this network. You have to be able to come from the bottom and walk people along your journey. So therefore, the people that we're aligning ourselves with, we're not leading you into these dark places because we've already been there. So you have to be battle tested. You have to come from nothing so that you can help lead people to something. And this is what she exemplified. And that's why she's a part of this network. And that's what this network is about. If you can't help people, then we don't, I'm sorry, this is not going to be the place for you. This is not for self absorbment. This is not that kind of organization. So what we're trying to do is empower people and understand that these are really true stories. I'm a young man from the projects, traveled the world, traveled the country, been on many, many big stages, but I'm from the projects. She's from the projects, right? I've employed so many people. She has so many people that she employed. So I'm sure this is becoming relatable to you. But the one thing that we have in common is our mindset.
Mm.
So I want you to think about that before I ask this next question. What is your mindset? What is your mindset? And we're no different. We breathe the same air and we have the same amount of time. What are you doing with yours? Because Dr. Tammie, she went to work and she didn't want to go back where she came from. And she made sure that that didn't happen. So did I. And you can do the same thing. So that leads me to my next question. My next question is, being a woman of color in leadership, and it seems like you've been in leadership most of your adult life. And I'm sure that comes with some challenges as well, in an industry that's predominantly male, predominantly non African American or person of color. What would you say to those listeners out there that may have some level of fear because of some of the hurdles that you yourself had to plow through?
I'm a firm believer, Coach, when you understand who you are, then you can be at any table and just be. Part of the issues that I knew I experienced early on, the imposter syndrome, inferiority, self-esteem wasn't the highest initially, in my early 20s. I'm in my 50s now. I began to understand that I belong at the table. I can create my own tables. And I read books, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Dennis Kimbrough, Think and Grow Rich, The Black Perspective, dealing with difficult people. I surrounded myself with coaches that will coach me up, like a Marty who said to me, she didn't look like me. Okay. She's a billionaire, sell real estate. She didn't look like me, but she saw something in me and she pulled it out of me. You got to be willing to go to rooms where people don't look like you, but they care about your well-being. They want to call you up, you know, like even I know with your platform, Coach Rich, and you and I was meeting on last week and you gave me a coaching session, uh, you got to get with people like Coach Rich, like myself, who can call you up and say, you deserve this. And then you got to believe that. I think one of the things that I've struggled with early on, and I see other people struggling with, is wondering, do I even belong at the table? Well, who told you that you didn't belong at the table? Where did the idea come from? And then when you figure out where it came from, dismantle it. I knew where mine came from. I had my dad, we are besties now. We're great. We're awesome. But as a little girl, as a young girl, because he didn't get the validation, he would tell me, oh, you're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. He wasn't the most positive influence, but I had to dismantle those thoughts of fear, inferiority to get to my next.
Powerful. Let me give y'all a second to digest that. Digest that. I mean, this is an amazing conversation. Basically, what we're hoping that you take away is that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. The caveat and the secret is going to be your mindset. If you have a poor mindset, then typically your life will follow. So even if you don't have it, make sure your mindset is protected. Protect your peace, protect your mind, because that's going to control the outcome. If you don't believe it, then it's impossible to receive it or achieve it. So we're speaking here with Dr. Tammie. I've kind of, came in and bounced into her platform. She has, if you've been following her, please, if you have not been following her, follow her. Tune in every Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. She has brought on her platform some powerful game changers. I'm not just saying this. I'm a student of her show as well. I show up every Monday and I'm learning. And you too can learn. One of the things that we pride ourselves on, one of our core values here is we don't gatekeep, right? Nobody here is afraid to share wealth, information, content, struggles. Like, we're transparent, we're regular Joe Blow people like yourselves. But Dr. Tammie here is one of those people that exemplifies. She is the poster child from bottom to the top. And every level there's going to be a new struggle. So she's not without life resistance. She's human. She's got her own crosses to bear, but that's not stopping her. So it shouldn't stop you. Trust me. None of us here are perfect. We've all been through something. And you probably may be coming out, going in, or just, or one's coming your way, right? So she's had it all, but she's managed to build her own self up, her own businesses, be able to inspire people, find time to coach, build homes in Johannesburg, and even be a minister and speak in so many different environments and on so many different platforms, including this one. So hopefully this conversation is inspiring you. We're going to dig in a little bit deeper. Let's talk about, for those, and I'm asking you these questions about you so that you can help those that are listening. Let's speak about managing your finances when it's hard to be taught how to manage your finances as a child when it just wasn't in your home, right? So it was hard to learn financial management and how to retain, how to invest. Like, those things were kind of hard for us to learn because our parents just didn't have it really to teach us. Speak to those people that may have never or have not had access to that level of understanding when it comes to finances.
So, yeah, I mean, most of us, unless we were, reared by the Cosbys or that example, have struggled, with finances as young people and seeing our parents struggle because maybe they didn't know, which I think that makes us even a greater resource to learn. And that's what happened for me. I mean, I started reading books. I started taking seminars. I started connecting with people who were doing something with their money. I think I bought my first house. I've had collectively altogether a lot of houses, and I bought my first house when I was 26 years old. I didn't know anyone in my family, maybe two people in my family, three people in my family had bought a house, but it's not because they explained to me that you need to buy a house and you need to build generational wealth and you can buy a house and roll it over to the next house and the next house. It's like I knew that because I struggled and didn't want to be on a struggle bus anymore. I saw what I saw. So I say to people, you can take your tough experiences, Coach Rich, and you can use that to benefit to build up in life. And so seminars, credit repair meetings, housing opportunity meetings, anything that they were having, oh, this little girl was showing up because I knew it was more. And the more you don't know, the worse off you are. Knowledge is power. They say, well, what you don't know won't hurt you. It will kill you dead. Okay. And that's what you do, to somebody who maybe can't grasp around the millions. I want you to grasp around, where are you right now? Are you at four figures, five figures, no figures? Start where you are. And even in my life and in my world, I want to say it publicly. And I know some of my real estate sisters and brothers are on, with the economy, with the interest rates going up. We literally went, and I want to share this. We went from 50, 60 houses, selling 50, 60 houses a month to sometimes 3 houses a month. Because when you go from a 3.2 interest rate up to a 7.75 interest rates, everybody's scared because their payments are doubled. And so I've had great money. And then I've had situations where I'm like, where the money at? Where the money at? Where the money at? You understand what I'm saying? But what I realize is you work what you got and you be transparent with your own self. You understand that you're not trying to impress anybody. You're trying to take care of your family. You're trying to build generational wealth and you're trying to give back. And if you have that mindset shift right there and you're always depositing, oh, it's going to come back to you. Like, I know one day soon, there's going to be a shift with the interest rates. There's going to be more real estate closings. There's going to be more opportunities to make more money.
Wow, amazing. Digest that. We're talking about mindset to millions and what the process is in between. I wouldn't have her speaking to you, and I wouldn't be on her show if I didn't believe in the methodology and her walk of life, because I see it. I'm behind the scenes. I see a little bit more than the average folks. And I just wanted to highlight her and let you guys know that who we put before you really are people that are walking the walk. So, if you need a coach, I think it's incumbent upon us to have someone pour into us from a professional standpoint, someone to coach us, someone to mentor us, right? I call myself a life strategist. Why? Because I help people with steps and stages on how to get from one point to the other. Find something to attach yourself to. And I'm going to give you a quick story about me. I wasn't a guy to read books, but then I read this one book, Who Moved My Cheese? Game changer. Who Moved My Cheese? And then I started reading books from Miles Monroe, Dennis Kimbrough, these different authors. Read books or do things that other people have done to get what other people have got. That's the secret. Find out what it is that works and use it to your advantage. Dr. Tammie and myself are both entrepreneurs. We're both business owners. I own a few businesses. As you see, she owned a few as well. One of the things that I took away is I started doing for myself what I was required to do for the boss. If I had to be to work at 8, when I started working for me, I was working by 8. If my lunch break was noon, when I started working for me, my lunch break was at noon. He paid me fringe, I charged fringe. They took out insurance for my business, I charged for my insurance. It's a platform that's already indicative to being used. It is free. So think about the things you do for others and start doing it for yourself. The discipline that you have to have for that 9 to 5, if you do like Dr. Tammie and myself, have it for yourself. Mm. It's really simple, but the hardest part is the mindset. The hardest part is the mindset. And that's going to lead to my next question or next comment. If you could give advice to those people that most people, I'm going to be honest, most people at some point in their life, in their 40s and 50s, 60s, find themselves stuck because life happened, divorce happened, loss, sickness, um, you know, child issues, whatever. Life will happen if you live long enough, and it will be against you sometimes. How can you advise them or give them advice on how to stay encouraged, how to stay motivated, and how to not quit on what it is that you desire for yourself? How did you not give up when there were several opportunities to do so?
Oh my goodness, your questions are loaded, loaded questions. Even as you were saying, asking a question, my mind was going back. I was like looking over my shoulder, remembering the losses along the way, remembering, the fact that I buried a child, remember just so many things, going through a divorce. Yeah, remembering the negative $5.75 in my account, just remembering, right? But everything that I remember as it comes back to me, I also remembered I got through that. And then I got through that. And then I got through that. So history have a way of teaching us that if I got through that, I can get through this. And so what I want to say to the people out there tonight, sometimes you got to look over your shoulder and you got to remember where you came from. And so when fear come in and say you're not going to make it, when fear come in to say, "Oh my God, it's over." It's not over. It's not over. As long as you have breath in your body, as long as I have the power of now, that's what I focus on. Coach Rich, I don't have yesterday, I don't have tomorrow, but tonight at 8:44 p.m., I'm on this radio station that God has given me a platform to empower, to encourage, to motivate people. I have now this moment, which has helped me understand that I belong at the table. So I just want to say to the person out there who feel like giving up, who's been on a struggle bus, listen, Linda and Larry. Let me be the first to tell you, some days I'm on a struggle bus. Some days I'm trying to figure out how do I get to my next. Some days I'm trying to figure out how in the world did I do all that? And now I'm in a new circle, a new life, walking through transitions and processes. How am I going to get back to that place? Oh, I got breath in my body. I can do this. We can do this. You can do this. Don't give up. Don't quit. Just know the power of now is very powerful. And glimpse back, remember what you already made it through.
Listen, this was supposed to be an interview, but this is a sermon. Man, you're bringing it, Dr. Tammie. We would love to hear more about this from you. And for those of you that first-time listeners, Dr. Tammie is a real estate. I call her a real estate mogul. She's built homes in Africa. And just so you guys know, our second most listening, we're up to about 450,000 viewers. But our second most listening comes from Africa. Lagos, Warri, Nigeria, right?
Wow.
And Morocco. These are we have a large listening audience in Africa, and hopefully, my future, I'm going to put this in the universe that I'm going to have Dr. Tammie put a station, a MSC station, in Johannesburg, and she's going to be the director and run it. That I'm going to put that in the universe. We're going to make that happen. How about that?
Let's do it, Coach Rich. Let's take it to Joburg.
Let's take it to Joburg. You know what? Hold us accountable. Watch how we move.
Mm,
We're going to put things in the universe and we're going to make them
mm,
happen.
wow.
We're not afraid. We're
Mm,
not afraid. And that's going to lead, and I'm going to do an exercise real quick if y'all are willing to help me on this, because this is about mindset. This is about mindset.
mm-hmm,
Um, let me ask you a question, not you, to the audience. Don't you
mm-hmm,
answer, because I know you'll know the answer. All right. So everyone knows track and field, right? So I'm gonna stop for a second so you can listen. All right, you ready? There are 20 athletes that's running, and only five can make it to the finals. Race is over. They have 5 winners. And now these 5 winners have to run against each other.
mm.
I want you to put in the chat how many losers. Don't ask any more questions. 20 people, only 5 could win the marathon. Those 5 people will compete against each other. How many losers? And then I'm going to give you about 3 minutes or so, and I'm going to look at the chat, and then I got an answer for you. It's going to blow you away. With that being said, this is a dynamic conversation. Um, to the listening audience out there that are stuck and they want to take the next step, they're inspired. You have a story of divorce, -5 in your bank account, coming from where you come from. You have a story that's no different than a lot of people that are listening, but they're stuck. What would be one of the first steps or 2 steps that you would suggest that they take right now that can change the trajectory of their life? What are 1 or 2 steps that they can take to start right now, immediately?
Well, first and foremost, I want to congratulate them because they've taken step number one by tuning in. You gotta get in rooms that you may not be familiar with. You gotta be in places where iron sharpen iron. So that's step number one. You join in on tonight Mindset in the Millions. The second step would be now take an action step. It's one thing to hear. We hear information all the time, but what are we doing with the information? I know in the chat is my, coaching site, TammieHarrisCoaching.com. You might be a person that said, I want to build generational wealth through real estate. Our real estate site is there as well, TammieHGroup.com. Coach Rich, somebody need to put his information in as well. He coaches me up all the time. He's one of my coaches as well. You gotta get with people who have done what you have not yet done. Listen, I say this all the time. If you are the smartest person in your group, you need to get a new group, boo. I say that all the time. You need to associate with people that make you feel a little nervous. Sometimes I'm, playing golf. I don't know what I'm doing, but I got a cute outfit on and I'm learning something, but I'm meeting people, I'm meeting other bosses. And last thing I'll say around that, stop being so intimidated. We all are God's children. Nobody's better than you. You're no better than anyone else. We are all equal playing fields, and we all got to answer to God at some point. So stop being fearful and intimidated. You belong at the table. That's one thing I'm going to keep saying. You belong at the table.
Yes. Wow. Yes, yes. Listen, I love the fact that you guys engage in. That's a phenomenal answer. I see that this is a smart audience, so this worked out very well for me. They're saying that there's no losers in my scenario, and the truth of the matter is there are no losers. So if we think about our mindset, the only loser is the one that didn't enter the race. So if you're the slowest person, but you got into the race, then you're a winner. See, stop thinking you have to be the best in the world. Be the best in your lane. Be the best you. But you can never win if you never get into the race. You guys You got it right. There are absolutely no losers. There are no losers that are listening tonight. We're all winners. But when that gun go off in the morning, we got to start.
Mm.
We got to start. I don't care what place. The only loser is the one that don't get into this race. So let's take advantage of the life that we have. With that being said, listen, let's talk about some of the things that you've already done. Are there any? I know you have a coaching class. Tell us a little bit about what your coaching class or courses. What does it offer to the listeners?
So if you go to tammieharriscoaching.com, you'll see all the courses that we have. It's Sell and Grow Rich Academy. And the whole premise around that, whether it's the confident woman, whether it's Sell and Grow Rich, whether it's 10 listing in 10 days, whether it's the boss lady brunches, I mean, it's a slew of opportunities, but the whole premise around that is I work with women and men 35 plus, 35 years plus, because these are folks who they're ready for their next opportunity to understand who they are and the fact that they belong at the table and what they need to do to get there and to maintain. It's one thing to say you hit millionaire status at one point, but it's another thing to say that you consistently work towards your goal, whether you want to earn 100,000 a month, you want to earn 100,000 a year, whatever, you want to earn $1 million a month. But we focus on shifting the idea and the premise of who you are, whose you are, and how you get there. We have cohorts. The thing I love about my coaching programs, we have cohorts and accountability partners. So you're meeting people that you may not meet in your community. You may not meet at your gym. These are people, and I have 3 international students right now from Africa, that are entrepreneurs. One is an actor, another one is an engineer, another one is building a corporation as it relates to clean water. So it's all types of people that you will have an opportunity to connect with to get you to your next level. So it's not just you depending on you to get there, but of course, Coach Tammie is going to help you get there. Then you're going to have cohorts. And I see on the chat now, we have a lot of my students that have jumped in and are listening in on tonight. So I have people that can give you a testimony in how the programs have changed their lives.
Amazing. There you have it, folks. So what we're hoping that you would take away from this is one, to get started. You can't win what you're not in. It's that simple. You can't win what you're not in. So if you're not in it, you're not giving yourself a chance. You'll be amazed if you take that one step. My life changed when I went to a doctor, when I went to Mr. Miles, not Miles, Les Brown. I took a course with Les Brown. And then I upped it up a little bit more and got a private session. And I was complaining about the price. And I almost felt like I should have paid more after I was done. But it changed my life because my mindset was still stuck. My goal before I had started getting coaching and started investing in myself, my goal, honestly, was to become a police chief. That was my goal, right? And I thought that was really high. But I passed up opportunities, several opportunities to be the police chief. Why? Because after taking these courses, I realized there was just way so much more. Every goal that I aimed towards that was low, I hit. Everywhere I aimed, I hit. Be careful where you're placing your bullseye. Be careful where you're aiming, because typically that's where you go. So I was aiming low and I hit low, and I started aiming a little bit higher, I hit higher. And I realized that, wait a minute, if I can break the glass ceiling, then why am I looking average? Why am I looking average? So you can call me any name in the book, but one thing you can never call me is ordinary. You can never call me average. That's a decision that I made. Some people want to be average, and nothing against that, but it's too crowded. Average is too crowded. The lines are too long. The wait is too long for average. So if you're extraordinary, they can take you straight to the back. There's a section for you, and there's enough room for everybody at this table. Just like this whole platform, I'm up to over 450,000 viewers, and I'm in over 20 something countries, right? I tried to get at the table. He said, you need this degree, that degree. So you know what I did? I built it. Dr. Tammie's here. I have Dr. Sherman, Dr. Marcia, all these doctors and other professionals that are here on this platform. And I started with, I didn't have a hammer or a nail, but look at where we are now. Mindset is everything, folks. Mindset is everything. So do an audit of yourself. I'm going to pause right there and give you a second, Dr. Tammie, to go through the chat or whatever it is your show, by the way. But I've enjoyed talking to you. You are such a dynamic person. But I'll hand it over to you for any final statements that you may have.
Thank you, Coach Rich. Thank you so much, for just being who you are in the kingdom, and even giving me an opportunity to be interviewed by you. It means a lot. And I want to thank everybody who have joined tonight. I see you. I see old Bay J, my classmate, I believe. Renee, thank you for joining us. Bridget's in the chat saying good evening. What's up? Tara, thank you for jumping on. I'm seeing people. Music, yes, I see you. I see you. Beautiful butterflies. People are getting something out of what we shared. Ronnie, always in the house. Yes. Carla, I believe. Thank you for joining. Sharon's always in, saying good evening, family and friends. MSE, yes. Michelle is one of my team leaders. Michelle Wilder Baker, I see she's on. She's one of my team leaders, broker in charges at the real estate firm. I see Evelyn say, hey, my son, Rich Live. That's your mom, right?
Hey, mom. Yes.
Oh my God. Isn't that beautiful? My mom name is Evelyn too. So we
Wow.
got a lot in common, Coach Rich.
Right. And if you don't mind for a second, happy birthday, Mom.
Oh my
Birthday's
God.
tomorrow.
Happy birthday. Yes, Miss Evelyn. Thank you for joining us. Your son is wonderful. You're leaving a legacy in the earth for sure with him. Veronica, good to see you. Yes. Kirsten, yes. Oh my God. I'm seeing some wonderful, good friends up here. Yes. Yes, I see my one of my great friends up here out of Georgia. Villa, good to see you. Just so many people. Marla, one of our leaders at the real estate firm. She's an awesome realtor. Also, she owns a organization here in the Raleigh-Durham area. Myself, Christina, and Marla have a building together. 3 boss ladies of colors doing great things. Bridget, Shirley Griffin, my cousin, so many people. Okay, Trina, I hope I don't miss anybody, but listen, thank you all. It's 9:00. Thank you for joining in with us on tonight. Coach Rich, again, thank you so much. Miss Freeman, thank you. So many, Maggie, oh my goodness, Sade, I could go on and on, but listen, thank you all for joining Mindset to Millions. I want to say tonight, I live to tell the story. Coach Rich, thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my story.
If you don't mind, thank you so much for having me. If you guys could stay by a few seconds, if Ronnie or anybody in there could drop the link to the website
Yes.
and be able to connect with us. And if you want coaching, listen, it's up to you, but we're here throughout the week, and we're bringing gems, and it's absolutely free. We're just asking you to do something with it and make a difference in your life. And hopefully you can influence somebody else and make a difference. But, put the link in there if you guys have the link to either her website or the MSC Network website. And one last thing, and I'm going to flex a little bit, right? I'm going to ask the boss, can I stay for a few seconds? We have a mature audience that are 50 and up. Now we have audience from 35 and up, but specifically for those people that are in their 50s and 60s that feel like it's not worth it to start at this particular time. Please drop a gem for these people that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s that feel like that valuable time has passed.
Hmm. Coach Rich, something that happened recently, I gave a master class to 55 plus audience, and I think the oldest person was maybe 82, and these was entrepreneurs. Do you know, in research, I found that people are their wealthiest in their 70s. You know why? You just getting good, baby. You just getting started. Wisdom has kicked in. You went through a little life. You've been able to look over your shoulder and see what to do and what not to do. So you still have time to win. We don't have yesterday. We don't have the future, but we have the now. And Coach Rich is a good resource. I do want to say this, Coach Rich. Saturday nights, oh my God, this music is off the chart. You're talking some good music. Tuesday, he's on and he's coaching and he's sharing information. And then, Coach Rich, don't we have some new folks coming on soon
Yes.
to the platform? I want you to talk about that real quick. And then I also want you to share. I have people all the time say, Tammie, how did you get chosen to be such part of a great platform? I had to be interviewed. I had to be selected. Coach Rich recently said to me, Tammie, who do you want to nominate next to be on the
Yes.
platform? So you want to talk
Yes.
a little bit about that as we're wrapping up?
Yes, yes. So we do have a new team in addition to our team that's already here. We have Dr. Marcia, Dr. Sherman that are already here. Uh, Myself, and we also have Ariel. Ariel has a journey that she's going to be sharing with us. A little bit of background jazz music. So she is a very dynamic person. She's out of Texas, and then we also have a social justice advocate that's going to be coming and teaching us how to advocate for rights, for human rights, for everybody's right, and make sure that we're getting equality. And that's Old Bay J. That's the name of the show, Old Bay J. Right. So she's also out of Texas, and then we have Michelle Pope. If you love what you've heard on Saturday nights with me, Michelle Pope will be bringing that. She's all about love. She plays great love songs, old school R&B, neo soul, and all that good stuff. So Michelle Pope, she's coming to the network. And then we also have Mike, who's also a younger guy who's going to bring a different vibe. So we're covering all bases. But the most important thing is, out of all these people, they all have a story. So that's part of becoming part of the network. I do not select everyone. There is a process, because what we want to do here is be dynamic enough to make a difference. We have these other news outlets out there that are telling our story for us, right? So do not mistake this platform or station as mom and pop. We share space with CNN, MSNBC, NBC, and ABC, African American owned. We share the same space, so we can tell the same story. And this is why it's predicated on the belief system that we can make a difference in the world, but you should be making a difference, right? So if you want to get connected, you want to be a part of the organization. There's the link that's in the chat. Click on the link. There's an icon for join the team. Connect with us. Let Dr. Tammie know that you're interested. Typically, I have people that are referred. But if you don't have anybody to refer you, we will interview you. But all we hope or all we ask for is that you're willing to be part of this change. We're trying to change the narrative. There's so much negative out there. There's so much, there's so much that is pulling us in the wrong direction. And there's so many people telling the story that doesn't represent us in the right way. And it's all inclusive. We include everybody. Everybody's welcome here to this platform. You just have to be positive. The energy has to be positive, and you have to be willing to be dynamic and making a difference in those people's lives by giving up your time. And it's so rewarding to be a part of it. This is the Zero to Hero story. This network is now in every state in the United States and about 23 countries outside of the US. This is only the third year. This is a pivot from the pandemic.
Mm.
Won't he do it? So
every time.
Won't he do it? So if you want to be a part, go to the link, join the team, get with Dr. Tammie or one of the other personalities. Let us know that you're interested, and we'll get you on your way. It's not mom and pop. You have to go through orientation. You have to go through training, because you are instantly a radio personality. So just join us. And on that note, Lady CK, I forgot about her. Lady CK, news correspondent, bringing us the news that is happening in our community as well. So thanks to all the new personalities that have joined, and thank you, Dr. Tammie, for being a leader, for being someone that's willing to sacrifice her time and share it with others to make a difference. And you are making a difference. I see it. I believe it. I watch it every day. I watch it no matter what's going on. I see that you're impacting people's lives. But this is someone that is no different than anyone else that's listening. She just had the right mindset and surrounded herself around the right people. Do a self audit. Who's around you? Who's pouring into you? Who's feeding you? You know, we have this thing in the tech world: trash in, trash out. What you put in is what you produce. So be careful of who pouring into you, what you pouring into yourself. I don't get to watch TV that much. You know why? Because I'm too busy trying to make a difference in my life and minding my business so that I can help others. Ask yourself, what are you doing and who are you doing it with? And that's a good place to start. So thank you to the moderators, Ms. Freeman, Mom, happy birthday, and everybody else that's involved. And Shaquanta, you're amazing. She's in the background. Yes. I turned Shaquanta into a engineer. Is a engineer. So much is being developed from this organization, not just the people that you see, but in the background. We're producing engineers, speakers, coaches. We're producing so many great products right here, right? And we're all just ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So join that. On that note, thank you guys. I love you. I'm so grateful for you guys to tune in. But Dr. Tammie, keep doing the work. Listen, I'm serious about that. I want a station in Joburg, please. I'm putting it on you. That's your assignment.
Let's go.
I'll stretch you. So if you join this organization, I dream big. So look forward to it. We will have a station in Johannesburg. On that note, I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you, and I love you, Queen.
Oh my goodness. I love you, man of God. I love you, King. I love your queen wife. You all are amazing. And you heard it from Coach Rich. Joburg will have MSE. Yes. Thank you all again for joining us. Thank you for coming every Monday night, 8 p.m. We're bringing guests in, but tonight you got to know a little bit about your girl, Dr. T. Make it a great night, and God bless.
Thank you.